Hey everybody, welcome to our first live broadcast of 2025. Let's kick some butt and take some names. I think that's what we're talking about today. Lindsay's question for you guys, Cleaning Nation, was what is the number one challenge standing between you and your goal coming up on 2025? So Lindsay, what do we got? Who can we help?
All right. So in the Facebook group, Elevated Home Services commented on my post. They said, finding enough business to stay busy all year and justify having employees. In a valley that has only 20,000 people and is dependent on tourists and Airbnb rentals. No, I haven't put my effort into marketing in the area. The next real populated cities are about 45-minute drives. So, Mike, I guess what I'm asking is, do you think it's really possible to find enough all year long customers in a place like this? That was a
great question. So a couple of things. First, the data is a little sketchy. So when you say in a valley that only has 20,000 people and is dependent on tourists, I don't know if that means it has 20,000 people plus the tourists or it's 20,000 people with the tourists. I'm going to assume it's 20,000 people plus the tourists. So I love doing this math because let's just assume it's 20,000. And by the way, the smallest, Sally, by the way, the smallest client we've had, I think is 1,000 people in her area, and it's completely tourist, and they do great. So it's a little harder. I'm not saying there's not specific challenge that has to be dealt with, but yes, it's possible is a short answer. But let me just walk you through the thinking. Say there's 20,000 people in your town, and let's say that's only 10,000 households, right? Because everyone doesn't live alone. And let's say of those households, you only want the top 5%. So 19 out of 20, you're going to be like, oh, they live in a condo, or they're too old or too young or single, whatever. 19 out of 20, just throw them in the garbage, right? So of the 10,000 households, roughly 5% would be 500 clients. And most of the time when I ask the people that are asking this question, so of those 500 clients, you have 300, 400, where are we at? And they're like 23. So the answer, Lindsay kind of did the head cock, which is what they do, which is like, oh. So if you just do the raw math, even if there's only 2,000 households in your place and you only take the top 5%, that's still 100 people. And if you've got like 70, 80, so yeah, that might be kind of, you're never going to get 100% of them. Even half is quite a bit. But when you're dealing with like, there's 2,000 people I could get, and 1% would be 20, and I don't even have that, or I just have 1% of it. It's like, do you think you could get to 6%, 9%, like super reasonable numbers? So that's the first thing. The second thing is not what I'd recommend, but well, again, without patting ourselves on the back too hard, our clients, when we give them the systems and processes, oftentimes move to a different neighborhood or place and they keep their business. So it's certainly, or open in a different location. So that's on the table, but it's just a little bit more of an advanced move. So short answer, guys, gals in smaller towns, literally just Google or Zillow that stuff and be like, how many households are there? And just what if I only took the top 10%? 5% was super exclusive. And 10% is a lot. That means 90% of households are not even going to talk to them. And then of that 10%, if you have less than 10% of that, what are we doing? Right? You're like the very tip of the iceberg. It's like I'm wearing a multi-billion-dollar coaching client. I'm like, there's not too, there's probably think 2 million owners of cleaning companies in the United States. And, we have a couple hundred or whatever. Like, well, I guess we're all done. Like that's not the case. And there's always going to be people moving in. Yeah. So short answer, I think you're going to be fine. Elevated home services and all those out there that kind of have those same fears. If I live in a smaller community, and again, now, can you build a $5 million company in that community? That's going to be tough on the residential side, but you can build a $500,000 company, and then you can decide if you want to expand.
Got it. All right. And just to note, Elevated Home Services is here. They said 20,000 total population plus tourists. So there you go.
Yeah, that was the assumption we made. So then I can give you a full, you're going to be fine, Elevated Home Service, unless you've got 590 clients already, then we'd have a different conversation. But if it's under 100, probably even under 50, we're square.
Nice. All right. On to Southern Cinderella's Cleaning. I like that name. Cinderella. I'm going to call him Cinderella. Staffing is so hard right now. Everyone learns my ways and then leaves and starts their own business. It's like clockwork. They stay 2 years and gain all the experience and learn my ways. and then they are off stealing clients, etc. Mike, how can we help Cinderella?
I love that question, Cinderella. So part of it's just a reframe. A lot of what I love about the coaching is people make perfect, like our last question, like, is this a big enough market? And it's nice about, oh yeah, we've helped dozens of people, hundreds of people in markets that size. So you kind of have that confidence. So I'm going to do the same thing for our friend Cinderella. 2 years for a cleaning company, a cleaner, is a really long time, really long time. So one of the assumptions we make, there's a couple of assumptions we make as owners of cleaning companies that I don't think serve us or our team. One is they should stay with us forever. Like, this is a career. It's not. This is not a career, right? Like, and I'm not, some of you are like, I've had someone with me. I got it. I understand. There's other people that have been Walmart greeters for 10 years, but that we would, or ticket takers at the movie theater. And I'm not disparaging those jobs at all, or cleaning jobs, of course. But to say that they're careers it's ridiculous, right? I think we would agree when we're hiring, it's kind of like fast food, or, like those are the types of people that we're competing with for talent. And someone to stay at McDonald's for 2 years, and McDonald's is a pretty big organization, pretty good hiring systems, is unusual, right? So the expectation of people should, and you guys might go, well, Lindsay's been there for years. Everyone I hear, I'm like, well, I know, but we're not. If I was having Lindsay clean toilets every day, she probably would have left a long time ago. Like, and again, no disrespect. I've cleaned many a toilet before. So we're not disparaging those people. We're just saying the people who want those work are just in a different phase of their life, and that phase typically is a little shorter of, I'd like to do this work, right? So there's nothing wrong with it, but you just have to have reasonable expectations. So 2 years is plenty of time, right? They're like, we're not looking for that. The other mistake that we make is we feel that we have to give them some sort of path to management. Like, we've got, but cleaning company, the way you set up properly, there's not a lot of management, right? We're like, oh, we're going to have them be a supervisor, give them an extra buck an hour. Like, it's still not, if you're going from $16 an hour to $17 an hour, it's like, well, now I'm in management. Now I'm going to retire from, like, you still can't afford to, like, have kids or buy a home or do anything like adults do. So we don't have to give them this, like, you're going to be up and up and up, and someday you're going to make something of this kid. What you do want to do is leave them better than you found them, right? So we coach the cleaners doing the hiring, the training, the onboarding, the interviewing, so they leave with skills that they didn't have before. And the goal, if I owned a cleaning company today, would be for, and it's my goal now. Like, I love Lindsay. I don't want her to leave, but when she does leave, I want her to be like, I'm so much smarter. But like, I went for a job that paid way more, and I want her to take the skills that she's, not to compete with me. Let's be clear, Lindsay, but to find a job or bring more value in the world. Like, I'm okay if someone leaves to bring more value, but if she left here to do the same thing, I'm like, oh, what happened? Like, maybe, what's going on? So I would encourage you guys and gals not to try and put pressure on yourself that you've got to offer them 30 hours a week or 40 hours a week, or quote unquote, give them a living wage. This isn't a living wage job. If they want a living wage, they should go do a different job. Most people are like, I'm a mom, and I'm just, if I can be honest, I want some adult conversation. I can't be home all goddamn day. I just want to be out in the world. And yes, I'd like to make a little extra money. That's perfect. On the commercial side, same thing. Some of the best cleaners are hardworking men that are married with kids, and they want a nicer Christmas or a nicer vacation for their family, and that's what they're here for. And they're great employees. Like, and that's okay that they're not full-time. So it doesn't have to be full-time. It doesn't have to be this career path where they're moving up and up. As long as they're better when they leave than than you found them, and you can pour into them, that's fine. So that's that. So 2 years is very low turnover. If I had a cleaner stay 2 years and leave, I'd be like, what took you so long? You should have left 6 months ago. Like, with all the skills, and should be moving on with your life. The red flag is the taking of the clients. That's a completely different issue. So that's an integrity issue, not a people issue. So Lindsay, I've done zero training that I'm aware of not to steal my clients. We have had very few less than 30% of our conversations have been around me telling Lindsay, please, or steal anything from the company. Please don't. Like, we just,
that's a fair assessment.
and if I felt I had to have the conversation with Lindsay, I wouldn't hire her. I'm not going to hire a thief and be like, don't you go stealing. I'm just not going to hire them. So I would purport the problem is and there's not everybody, like, it is not true to say every cleaner does that. The cleaners that you're hiring and attracting, and the way that you're setting up the relationship with them, is creating that universe. So we've got obviously lots and lots of clients. I've coached thousands of people, and that whole people are stealing my clients, for our clients. I hear that for our prospects, mostly on the residential side, not as much on commercial. 20-30% of the time. And then for our clients that do things that we ask, we almost never hear that. Or if we, not that it never happens, but one off one time, and they never get anywhere because they think cleaning, they don't even, like that would be like me being a mechanic and thinking, oh, I'm a good mechanic, I'll go start a auto repair shop. It's like, it's a completely different skill set and they don't get that. So fine. So what I'm saying is it expected that that's going to happen sometimes? Yep. Should it be like every 2 years, like clockwork, they're leaving and stealing the people? It's like, well, then you're hiring people of low integrity, right? And you're setting up a situation where they think that's okay, right? Like the reason I don't tell Lindsay not to steal clients isn't because I don't think she's not, if I needed to tell her, she wouldn't listen, right? Like I always see like little locks on, they have soft-sided suitcases that you could literally just cut open with a knife and it's not, and they have little tiny locks on. I'm like, that's to keep the honest people out. Like the thieves are not even a blink. I live in a fancy, gated, I'm doing with a huge air quotes community. It just annoys the pants off the people that live here. The people that are going to steal just wait and follow. So it's nothing, right? So the same thing with, don't you steal my clients is like, if you're dealing with the right person, you don't have to tell them. If you're dealing with the wrong person, you can tell them till you're blue in the face. It's not gonna help. So I would look at my hiring system and what I'm tolerating in terms of caliber of integrity of people. So two things. One, 2 years is fantastic if they quit after 2 years. Give yourself a pat on the back. Don't knock it. But the way they leave should be a lot healthier. If you've built this relationship for 2 years and they feel that they can steal from you, something's gone horribly wrong in that relationship. Again, one more example, not the case. I've been married to my beautiful bride for 14 years now, but let's say that was not the case. And every 2 years, I guess I could be dating or married. My wife cheats on me or my girlfriend cheats on me every 2 years, like clockwork. Would you go all women are bad cheaters, or would you go, Mike, you might want to check the women that you're dating, right? Like or they rob me when I'm sleeping and leave with all my things. Like every 2 years, the first 2 years, it's a 50-50, or the first one, maybe she's a crazy person. Maybe I got a bad picker, but 7 years in or 8 years in, 4 thieving girlfriends or wives later, it's maybe I look at my selection process and the type of relationship I have. Like it would be weird. Like, anyway, sorry, I don't want to get to preaching, but short answer, 2-year turnover is great. And people stealing from you at any point consistently, something's wrong with the relationship that you're setting up and who you're picking. Hey, Clean Nation, Mike Campion here. One of my least favorite things about these podcasts are we found that people love the show and they love the information, but when I talk to you guys in person, stuff doesn't get done. People love the podcast, but they don't take any action. If you'd like to actually implement this and get this done in your world, we have a whole team of people that do exactly that. If you go to growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, you can book a time with either myself personally or one of our teammates to at least help you come up with a plan to actually implement and change your life. So if you want to go from getting these good ideas in your head to getting them in your life, just book a free call with myself or my team, growmycleaningcompany.com/talk, and we can go from this one-to-many format to one-to-one and really get you some results. Excited to talk.
Whew. That was a lot to unpack.
Lindsay's like, I need to just have you not talk for a minute, Mike. That was a lot real quick. I had my afternoon coffee right before this, so my apologies.
Yeah, I can tell. I just have images of your wife, Natalie, like as Catwoman, just like stealing stuff from you. I don't know. You just gave me a ton of weird mental images.
She's the fourth Natalie.
Yeah, she's just, something's going on, Mike. All right. So thanks, Cinderella, for sending that in. I actually see the people stealing clients, cleaners stealing clients come up a lot in the Facebook group. So I'm so glad Cinderella asked that. So you could address that, Mike. That was a good one. All right. This next question, well, it's 2 questions from Mark in the Facebook group. He had a question on your last Ask Me Anything, Mike, and I totally missed it. I'm sorry, Mark. So I'm coming back to you, buddy. First question was contract terms. How long and do you give price discounts for any longer terms?
So I'm not a fan of contract terms at all, for a couple of reasons. When I sell, I want to sell, you stay with me as long as I'm bringing value, right? I get nervous when people are like, I want you to sign up for a long, especially on the service side. If it's like a software or something like, I feel a little differently, or a gym membership or something where we kind of all get what is happening here. But when it's a service that could be a good service, could be a bad service, right? I get nervous when they're like, I want you to sign up for a long-term contract. Cause I'm like, well, are you afraid I'm going to quit? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. That's why I want to sign a contract. I'm like, well, why would I quit? Oh, cause people really don't like our service. They quit all the time. It's like, well, hold on, let's just slow everything down here. So when I sell, I want to be like, hey, you stay because you want to stay, not because you're locked to a contract. So that's just kind of the business philosophy is, and also I want real feedback, right? If they're, I'm old, so I'll use the example of the yellow pages, which I hated, and I think most people my age, spent $2,000 for a little eighth page ad, 2,000 a month, like 20 grand, like it was. Yeah, Lindsay's young and doesn't
That
want to
much
talk.
money? I had no idea.
I was in Phoenix, and the yellow pages, it was a couple grand for a very small ad a month. So like 24, yeah, it was a lot. But it was the yellow pages. Like, what are you gonna do? You have to, like, I know I'm making myself so old. I'm 50, by the way. It seems like I'm 100 the way I'm talking about the yellow pages, but not that old. And we hated them. And it was funny how when kind of the internet happened, yellow pages, how quickly they just evaporated and got knocked off the right, because everyone was so sick of them. Like, I am so ready to get, like, we hated them. And there's probably other examples of like things that you're kind of stuck with, but hated, like Blockbuster. Not that we didn't hate Blockbuster, but returning videos and whatever. And like just instantly you're like done. So I don't want a whole bunch of pent up people that are just with me because of a contract. And then like as soon as that contract, like, I am out of here. Like it's just bad. The flip side is I need that feedback, right? If my clients are leaving all the time, I need to ask what's going on. Am I picking the wrong clients? Am I giving a bad service? Like I need to fix the process. And if I stunt that process with false, I'm here because of a contract, and I don't get the feedback I need to do better. And then if we're just going to be honest about it, ask, convince Lindsay to sign a lifetime or 20-year contract with me. But let's be real. There's no slave labor. If she didn't want to be here, like contractor, no, she's kind of going to go. Right. And then we could go the other way, like signing a contract. I guess if I said I was going to pay her, I'd have to do that. But like, if she was just cursing at customers, I don't want her around anymore, even though I had a contract, I may have to pay her for that, but I'm not going to have her come. So same with you and your customers. If they don't want you, you really think a contract, you signed a contract, they're just going to go, well, you suck. Or they're whatever. And then vice versa. Are you trapped into what if they're like throwing Doritos and cursing at your employees when they come in? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like they can't make you stay if you don't want to clean. So you can sign whatever contracts you want. But even if Lindsay would sign a lifetime contract, it's not a legally binding contract. Like it's no slave labor. She don't work for me. She don't want to work for me. So I don't like them because it kills the feedback loop that I need. B, it's not great for sales. I just want to tell people, you stay because you love it. Our clients never leave. We have low churn. And I want to know why. Like, why do you think you need a contract? Well, customers suck and they leave. Is it always a customer? Why'd they leave? Like, oh, well, just because they're bad people or they're cheap. It's like, could be. But then if you have a contract and they suck, now you're stuck with them. So I don't like it from that standpoint. And just logistically, like realistically, do you think a contract's going to do gosh darn thing? Like, would you sue them? Like, and if you do sue them, are they going to go to the court and go, yes, we broke our contract, we owe the money? They go, no, they sucked and broke stuff and we're terrible. And what's the judge going to do? Like, no, you gotta, it hurts things. And it doesn't, the upside is like, but they'll never leave. It's like, won't they? So I'm a big no. The short answer to that is contract terms. How long? Tell us to quit anytime you like. And then price discounts for longer terms. If they prepaid, I would give a discount for that. But then it'd be like, hey man, no refunds. And then I go out of, I'm like, well, I don't, so, and I'd only do that if I really need cash or something. So yes, I would give a discount for prepayment for a longer term service, but not a contract. And there would be no refunds if I'm taking a discount. That's for goddamn sure.
Got it. All right. And Mark's second question was, can you demand a subcontractor to follow your company cleaning procedures and guidelines?
Well, you can demand anyone, anything at any time. This is America. Are you going to have success? And is it legal? Those are separate questions. So I get real squishy when you're like a subcontractor, like on the legality of that, because in North America, Canada and America, or the United States, it's kind of squishy. Like, and again, I'm not a labor lawyer, call labor lawyer for real labor lawyer advice. But from a business standpoint, having had lots of contractors and employees, it's like, well, are you paying a person? Or are you paying a corporation? I'm paying a person. What's a red flag? I'm paying a corporation. What's a green flag? Does that mean that's the only standard? Nope. Are you controlling their time? Are you giving them training? How much training? Are you providing them equipment and supplies? So there's really two questions. Is it legal which I can't answer. And even a good labor lawyer will tell you, here's my opinion, but at the end of the day, if and when you get audited, we're going to fight it out and we'll see you know what I'm saying? Like, that's how they try stuff in Supreme Courts and higher courts. And like, is this legal? Like, this judge said it was. Let's take it to another one and see. And that judge might have a different thing. So it kind of comes to that. Like, are they really subcontractors? Like, by the legal definition? I don't know. Get sued and find out. Like, that's really the only way to know. So from a legal standpoint, it is the more training you do and the more demands you make on your subcontractors, the more an auditor from the government would be likely to say, hey, that's an employee. But again, for a real discussion on that, talk to a real lawyer. I'm not even a fake lawyer. That's on the law side of it. On the logistics side of it, you can certainly demand it, but it's more like you expect what you inspect. So that's more a system of, and I'm more into outcomes, by the way, especially like with Lindsay, I give very little micromanagement of you must do this, you must do that. The core values are kind of the rules and the outcomes are the outcomes. And as long as our customers are wildly happy and love Lindsay, and they do, and she doesn't violate our core values and she doesn't, I don't have a lot to say after that. So and she's a lot more intimate with our customers than your people. Sorry, that sounded really weird. She has a much closer relationship with our clients. I meant that in the nicest possible way. And Lindsay gave me a weird face and it got gross like instantly. I was like, intimate in like the nice way. They love you. We hug.
Gotcha.
Like, yeah, intimate in the very.
Let's kick it off 2025 the right way here.
Yeah. Like, well, I was fine until you gave me the squishy face. And I was like, wait, what? I'm like, oh gosh, I said something weird. So Lindsay's involved in the day-to-day life of our clients more than your cleaners will be with your clients. So if I had cleaners that were subcontractors, it'd be like, hey, I want them to walk in and be like, I am so happy. I feel great. This is what I wanted. And as long as we get that outcome and they're not violating any core values, I don't have as many strong thoughts around what kind of equipment they're using, what kind of procedures. But if they're not getting that result, then I'm going to hold them accountable to that result. And if I'm like, hey, Lindsay, do it X, Y, and Z, and you'll get a good result. And she's like, I'm going to try something different that doesn't violate the core values. I get as good or better result. I have no thoughts. But if I'm like, hey, no, X, Y, and Z will get a good result. She's like, I'm going to do A, B, and C. And then it blows up in our face. I'm going to go, hey, girl, can we talk about X, Y, Z again? Just real quick. And at some point, she's either going to find a system that works great, or she's going to keep doing it her own way and not working. I'm like, hey, man, I can't have you do that anymore because you got to either do it the way that works. So long answer for a short question. Did I take up all the time or do we have time for more?
I think we're good for today, Mike. Just being intimate with our clients and all.
I think we have time. Lindsay just doesn't want me to yell at her anymore or accuse her of intimacy with not her husband. I just want to get
the awkwardness over.
I get it. I don't blame you. So welcome to 2025. It's going to get weird from here, people. Cleaning Nation listeners, thank you so much for your time and attention. That is, my humble opinion, the most valuable thing that we have. Hopefully you're getting, well, let's go this way. Since we don't have a contract for y'all to listen to us or give us money, if this is helpful, shoot us an email, Mike@GrowMyCleaningCompany or support@GrowMyCleaningCompany.com. If there's something you'd like to see better, let us know. If you have something mean to say, if it's constructive, we'll listen. But if you're a butt, come on, be cool. And more importantly, if you feel like this has been helpful, but you need someone to kind of like, it's always frustrating when I'm trying to one-to-many coach. If you're like, hey, I need someone to really look at my situation, what we got going on, feel free to reach out. Like I said, Mike@GrowMyCleaningCompany.com for me, support@GrowMyCleaningCompany.com. We're on Instagram. Say hey there. Facebook group, whatever. Reach out and we are here to help. Welcome to 2025. Hey, Cleaning Nation, if you dug the content you just got, we don't do any ads and I don't sell anything on this podcast, but if you would just subscribe, rate, and review, it would be huge and I'd be so appreciative. Not only is it going to help me, but you'll help other owners of cleaning companies across the world work less, make more, and get profitable. So if you appreciate the value we give, again, subscribe, rate, and review. It would mean the world to me. I'd really appreciate it. And we sure appreciate your time and attention.